I find myself standing in the cool breeze outside a mom and pop diner on Main Street. Across the road, there's a playground with a few groups of teens playing basketball and enjoying their precious remaining free time before having to head home to sleep for school. I smile thinking back to my house yarn days, fuzzy as it fuzzy as it all is. Zero Wolf is nowhere in sight, and I begin to doubt that this is the right place. I begin to call to him, but just as I'm about to chant my keyword, I feel a hand on my shoulder. Turning around suddenly enough to stumble, I'm greeted by the azure-eyed wolf as he holds me upright. Steady there, friend. Sorry you surprised me. I laugh it off a little fuss. Zero looks me up and down as a shiver runs through me. You look cold. Shall we go inside? I nod and follow his lead. As we enter, I feel the warmth of the room and reluctantly remove my jacket. The diner has a warm and honestly charming interior right out of a 60s movie, complete with a checkerboard floor, tile, and red booth seats. I see Gerald's face light up at the sight of the vivid colors and flashy lights of the jukebox and pinball machine. His excitement is contagious as I feel my own growing. Usually, when I come to places like this, it's with family, or in the case of my last outing with Tucker, and I never get to enjoy it. It's nice to be here with someone who looks like he's willing to play pinball or peruse oldies songs with me. Well, I doubt Gerald actually has any knowledge or interest in the songs. A guy could dream through, right? We seat ourselves at this diner. Where would you like to sit? We could have a booth in a cozy spot or right there. Gerald points fervently toward the bar. Those tall bar seats. I want to look at the little television. His excitement is pipe. His excitement is palpable. Oh, we can see the kitchen from there. Look, Gerald's pointing is now desperate, despite my gaze already being upon its target. His voice quiets as if he's trying to be discreet. Several people are already sitting nearby. Maybe we can observe their interaction. I'm a bit dumbfounded. His entire personality and way of speaking just popped a U E or a U. I don't know what this means. Gerald, are you alright? You seem a bit. Gerald's not even paying me in. Well, Gerald's not even paying me attention. Overwhelmed. His attention is transfixed on a group of approaching kids outside the windows, skating up to the diner. I tug on his arm. Gerald? Gerald snaps out of his trance and looks at me, his crystal clear eyes betraying the excitement his trembling arm hinted to me. Finn, sorry. Look at it all. This place is so alive, exciting. You're well. It's so lively, and I want to experience as much of it as I can. I can hear his voice in my mind as he's speaking out loud. It takes me a few seconds to piece together which words go to which sentence. Okay. I can see you're excited about this, but you seem overwhelmed. Can we go sit down and talk for a bit? We can order some food and sit here to let you soak in the experience, maybe get used to it. Then maybe I can show you the jukebox and pinball machine. He's nodding excitedly and his ears perk up a few times. Is this sensory overload? Poor guy. I lead him to the booth away from the bar. I know he wanted to sit there, but I think a little quiet will help him get used to the diner overall. His disappointment is immeasurable, but I reach out with mine speak before his day is ruined. We'll sit there next time. You're having a hard time processing everything, so I think we should ease you into it, bud. He frowns but nods, and although he's a bit sad for a minute, it all disappears when the server, a middle-aged man with almost too heavy smile, arrives. He takes our drink order, and I wonder if Wolf Giants can have half of the drink menu when Jerwolf orders a beer. I look at him in surprise, but order one for myself as well. We place our IDs, Jerwolf's being a glamour rock, on a table for the server, and he picks them up to check them, then hands them back hands them back to us with a smile and heads off to get our drinks. You drink beer? Well, of course. Zero's face takes on a strange expression like he's trying to be confident. He turns his head away from me and lays an elbow on the table. I prefer mid, but I'll take what I can get. His laugh is overly hearty and bigger than I expected. Is he trying to impress me? This is a different side of him, but it's kind of cute. Jerwolf, you're acting very differently. Is everything okay? Hmm? Oh, yes, I decided to drop the facade here. Honestly, I'm not always so prim and proper or well spoken as I am around the others, but Zero's voice and accolade returned for a moment. I need to conduct myself in a manner befitting my lineage and house when necessary. He relaxes again. With you, though, well, I'd like to consider you an ally and hopefully a friend. I know it's a bit presumptuous, but I fully intend to show you and everyone else how much of a boon I'd be as a great chief when the time is fitting. So while we're here and don't have much else to do until you've made your decision, why not enjoy this time? I can be myself a bit more. I'm stunned, but I understand, I suppose. I smile. Well, in that case, I reach out a hand for him to shake. It's nice to meet you, Wheelchair Wolf. He smiles and takes my hand, shaking it enthusiastically. It's been about a half hour of talking and drinking a few beers. Jeff made a disgusted face after taking his first sip, but after a few sips he seems to have gotten used to the taste. He ordered a sloppy burger and some fries while I ordered some fries and a club sandwich. The skating kids from earlier have entered the diner and are being a bit loud at the table across the aisle from us. Zero starts to ask me a question with a mouthful of burger, but covers his mouth and realizes his faux pas with a laugh. Sorry, I'm just so happy chatting with you. Anyway, you mentioned you're a second year student. I saw your birthday on your IP. Sorry for peeking, but you're a bit older than the other students in your year, no? I finish off a ketchup, drenched fry, and take a sip of my burger. I saw your birthday on your ID. Sorry for peeking, but you're a bit older than the other students in your year, no? I finish off a ketchup, drenched fry, and take a sip of my burger. I saw your birthday on your ID. Sorry for peeking, but you're a bit older than the other students in your year, no? I finish off a ketchup, drenched fry, and take a sip of my beer. Yeah, something I'm not really comfortable talking about. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean. No, it's fine. Honestly, I guess it would be good to get it off my chest. We were supposed to be trying to build trust, right? I lean in with an elbow on the table as I stare into my thighs, resting my chin on my hand. Yeah, I'm 26, almost 27. Did he say he's 25? A lot of my friends have already finished college and are already starting their lives, having children, getting married, all the big things. And so he's a second year. So usually you'd be like 19 or 20 years old, but he says he's 26, about to be 27, so that's a pretty large gap. I mean, he's not an old man. I mean, he's still a young adult, but he's older than the students. I started late because, well, I guess I just felt like I wasn't ready to. I shake my head. No, that's not really why. Actually, I had rough patch around when I was supposed to be thinking about my plans. Before I knew it, I was just working city job after city job and not going anywhere. This isn't necessarily my last chance or anything. I just feel like I need to figure out my path before. I stopped for a moment and sat in my seat. I stopped picking at my fries and noticed Gerald watching me, wholly focused on me. The world around us doesn't seem to matter. The scared kids flicking flies at one another. The cook calling out fitness orders to the server. The ringing of the pinball machine and some Baka guy wins a third place score. All of it vanishes. Gerald? Ben. Gerald hands or half stands to lean over the table between us, his abs pressing against the edge, and his tail elegantly curling around the corner as if to support his body. He reaches out to me through an eternity of muffled distractions. I feel the hot blood on my cheek as his fingers caresses my chin. Then he wipes some ketchup off of it. Sorry, you may continue. It was distracting, but I'm following so far. I laugh and shake the heat off my face. No, it's alright. I think that's mostly it. I don't know what I want, and I feel like I'm losing time to find out. Zero frowns and sighs. I know you're. I know how you're feeling. I know how you're feeling, Finn. You do? He seems so young, but in truth, I have no idea how old he really is, so he could be the same boat as me. Yes, I was the only remaining son of the leader of our village during the blight. I was sick often as a child, and so, after I caught and survived the blight, my father and mother locked me away in a wing of our castle. The only remaining son. With nobody to talk to, nobody to play with, I grew up almost completely isolated, save for the howl, the call my triplet sister Eva, my teachers, and very occasionally my parents. Triplet sister, oh, Zero lost a brother, so bring it up. So I stayed here, so I stayed there in my tower, reading and looking up. So I stayed there in my tower, reading and looking out to the sea, dreaming of my great escape. That explains his scent. I wonder if he'll smell less like this the longer he's away from his tower prison. I hope not. I have been alone, and quite frankly, jealous of my sister. She's always been able to see and explore and experience all of the wonders of our village and even other villages, although I don't blame her. She isn't an heir to the family standing, nor is she a candidate for a great chief. She'll be taken care of financially her whole life, and while she has had many accomplishments, she needs not worry about. She needs not worry as I do about being ready to lead. I see. Sorry. I can't imagine how lonely you must have been. In spite of the luxuries of living and wealth, you're under some serious pressure and had to deal with most of your issues alone. It must be so freeing to be here. I understand your behavior a bit more now. I hesitate a moment. Arkin says his brother died to a blight, but was able to be revived. That caused him to have a permanent debilitations. Zero, did you lose a brother to the blight? Zero's eyes meet mine with surprise and waver a bit. Then he turns them away towards the kids across the aisle who are arguing over which milkshake flavors best. His eyes well up a second, but he shakes his head and smiles. You picked up on that, huh? Yes, I lost my brother. Towards you. I'm sorry, Gerald. That must have been so terrible. I'm sorry, Gerald. That must have been so horrible. Then, to have his parents isolate him afterward, how did Gerald even get to grieve? I have half a mind to tell I have a mind. I'm sorry, Gerald. That must have been so horrible. Then to have his parents isolate him afterward, how did Gerald even get to grieve? I have half a mind to tell off his parents for their negligence. How cruel to leave a child on his own, but it's not my place to say so in front of him. Gerald excels. His face is resolute now. So, as you can guess, my peers have been off exploring the world, making new discoveries, and charting unknown frontiers. Meanwhile, I'm sitting alone in the castle waiting for any chance to get out. So when the opportunity arose, I took it. I know your regrets and your shame and your hope, Finn, because I felt them all. I shake my hand. My case was of my own making, though, at least keeping myself in it was. I've lived stuck in the past and it made me forget to experience what life is in the moment. Yours was forced upon you, Gerald. I'm sorry you had to go through that. The conversation has hit a pretty somber streak, so I tried to change that. So, you've only recently been set free? He nods at me, just about finished his burger. Yes, when my name was called to come be a candidate, well, I did not hesitate to answer the call. I want to experience many new things, and I'm done being holed up if I can help it. The longer I am away from the prison, the better, and all the more wonderful in your company, Finn. The longer I was away from that prison, the better, and all the more wonderful in your company, Finn. I'm very glad to have found you. Well, I'm glad you're here, Jed Wolf. Maybe we can look for new things to see and experience together. It'll be fun. The wolf giant is beaming at me, and I can't help but smile back. At the table across the aisle from us, I could feel the stares of the skater kids and suddenly become extremely self-aware. Man, old people are weird. Let's go before the arcade closes. Before we can respond or even feel embarrassed, the skater kids are already leaving. Zibble and I stare at one another again for a few seconds and then start to laugh. Wolf and I are just about finished as well, so I call the server for the check. Our conversation begins to drift in and out of mind speak as the server gives us our bill. So, what do you want for your future, Finn? We sort of just inserted ourselves into your life. I hope we didn't put your plans on hold or anything too drastic. I smiled at the thoughtfulness. At least Daryl seems to be respectful enough to think about how his actions affect people, unlike what I heard of the elders from Arkin the day before. I reach into my pocket and pull out my wallet. Well, honestly, I don't know exactly what I want. I feel like I've been static for so long, and I just need to try to find something I enjoy or feel happy doing. What I hope I find is a feeling that I've done something important or meaningful, maybe even find my place in the world. Zero seems amused by my response and nods. I see. I can respect that. It's not too much of a lofty ambition to hope to leave the world having done some good. I smile. So, what about you? Any lofty ambitions of your own? Zero's laugh is hearty and, this time, genuine. The look he gives me is almost sweet enough to make my teeth tingle. Nothing too lofty, I hope. I wonder, well, I would just like to see many parts of my realm and be able to make all kinds of friends. I want to be able to help people all over Jotunheim. I think of this and remember something. Oh, right, you mentioned New Frontiers earlier. What's that about? Oh, well, you see, our realm isn't wholly discovered yet. He leans in and whispers, there are a great many climates and dangers that hinder our progress. From what I've read about the humans of your realm, I liken our understanding of our world to the 10th, maybe 11th century here. Also, like when the Vikings were exploring and pillaging and voyaging, Zero looks at me quizzically, and I wave out. I realize I forgot to take the money for the checkout from my wallet and dig through it. We'll talk about that another time. So it seems like there is some great adventure to be had in your realm. Sounds incredible. Zero nods enthusiastically and then brushes his elbow with his paw hand as if to soothe himself. Yeah, it really does. All the stories have heard, I have to listen to them to learn anything about the world. Have me pretty excited to get out and see it for myself. So, why do you want to be the greatest chief anyway? Don't you really just want to explore? Oh, Finn, do not get me wrong. At first, the elders called my name, and I wanted to be free, so I agreed to participate. However, it. I really thought it through the first night, and again after I met you. I seriously want to see my world, but I am not naive enough to think the world's all good. All I have seen from my windows is a boundless, beautiful ocean. Meanwhile, the bad goings on in the villages nearby go unseen by any of my kin. I am ready to take the bad with the good. I need to see, to understand, the people I may one day lead. Their problems, their joys, their hopes, and even their losses. Their problems, their joys, their hopes, and even their losses. The knowledge that I'd be making a difference in seeing my world at once, well, it's enough to make me feel like I could catch the moon. I smile as I leave money and a tip inside the little book with a check. That's a very noble outlook, Zerwolf. You've given this a lot of thought, it seems. Zerwolf smirks and nods. Zerwolf smirks and nods. Then, where's this arcade? Are there goods to be purchased there? Oh, no. The arcade is a place with loads of games. There's one right around the corner. It's open for another hour, I think. Zero ponders this for a moment and then turns to me. I will go to this arcade. You should come with me. Zero stands up and reaches for my hand. I smirk and grab my jacket, standing and taking his hand. All right, then. I'll show you the way. As we leave the now much quieter diner and look at the jukebox, longingly. Someday, dear friend. I walk along, leading Jerwolf out into the nighttime autumn air. Zero and I find our way to the arcade around the corner from the diner and find it mostly empty. Not even the kids from earlier in the evening are there, and a single employee sits miserably at the coin counter. Zero's excitement is unwavering, even in spite of this. Bright colors and flashing lights all around us seem to blend together into a single drawn-out call as his ears are twitching and flicking evilly for every few seconds. And the diner was sensory overload. This must be a sensory supernova. I step up to Zerwolf and hold my hands over his ears. You probably need to ease your way into this. You look like you're about to burst. Zerwolf blushes and nods. Yes, Finn. I can see and hear everything. How there are so many sounds? I chuckle. After a few minutes of holding Zerwolf's ears this way and a few odd glances from the employee, I let go of Zerwolf's ears. Better? Yes, I can focus now. Thanks, Ben. I nod and turn toward the counter. Hello? Can I get $5 in coin, please? The employee, a rough-looking older man, nods and after taking my money, hands over the precious coins Zerwolf and I so desperately seek. He informs me that the arcade is closing in less than an hour, to which I offer a apologetic smile. Zerwolf, having wandered away a bit, is sitting in one of the racing game chairs, studying it. Do you want to play this one, Zerwolf? How is such a mount operated? I'll show you. At first, I awkwardly hover over Zerwolf and desperately getting closer to show him the functions. I chicken out, my face going red, and I move to the seat next to him. I insert a coin into each machine we're using and then climb onto the chair. Zerwolf studies my movements meticulously, and I motion toward my feet down below. There's the gas pedal and the brake pedal on this game. You push on the gas when you want to move faster, and then press your foot to the brake if you want to stop. I turn the steering wheel. This turns the car to your liking. In the race, you will have to be quick to decide how much to turn it. Zerwolf nods and leans in, gripping his steering wheel. Right, I'm ready. The game counts down and our race begins. Zerwolf and I race a few times. We both lose the first race to the NPCs, but he manages to win the second time and I narrowly win the third. I never was any good at these. He did amazing though. I laugh and pat Zerwolf on the shoulder and his smile is precious. We move from machine to machine, and as I explain the various intricacies of each of him, fuzzball, pinball, and whack-a-mole game. After each machine, tickets have been coming out. Zerwolf finally catches this. It gives me a questioning look. What are these little things? Oh, these tickets are used to trade for prizes. I point toward the counter. You can get things from the man over there, but most people only ever earn enough to get a pencil or some candy. How unfortunate. Mayhap we can win something better then. I nod. Yeah, let's go win some more tickets and then we can try it. Jill laughs and nods. We wind up at a shooting game. Zero picks the rifle-shaped controller up like a sword, examining it. It's a rifle. You'll aim it and fire at enemies on the screen. Zero has the cutest look of confusion on his face. Aim and fire? He holds it like he's going to throw the controller at the screen, and I hurriedly rush over to grab his arm. I suppose this time I'll have to bite the bullet. Here, I'll show you. I take the controller and put the grip in Gerald's hand. I hold his arms and position him gently into a suitor stance, turning a part of his torso forward. I take his free arm and hand holding the rifle, positioning them at level with his upper chest, and put the stock of the rifle against his bicep. This here is the trigger. You'll pull that to fire on the screen. There will be a little aiming reticle on the screen where you play that will determine what you hit. This game has two controllers, so we can play together. I'll happily pick up the second rifle. I'll cover you. Try your best. Leaning forward to put the tokens in the machine and press start for both of us and stand back. Zero seems to tense up, but after watching me aim. Lean forward to put the tokens into the machine and press start for both of us and stand back. Zero seems to tense up, but after watching me aim, he does the same. The game begins. His orange reticle overlaps my blue one a few times, and he wildly moves his arm around, mystified. Well, what is that? The reticle? I snort. Reticle. Across hair. Press the trigger button when that hovers over an enemy. This game has zombies and there are NPCs running away from them. Zero jumps in person and wildly fires at the zombies. In the panic, his eyes fill with worry. Ben, that woman is in danger, help her. I laugh and shake my head, aiming the rifle and picking the zombies off. After about 20 minutes playing the zombie game, our in-game characters die a glorious fashion, fighting a gargantuan monster. Zero drops the rifle back onto the hook and drops his knees as I collect a good amount of tickets for the game. I sure hope the people we saved escape the island. I'm about to explain that it's just a game and that the people within aren't even real, but the notion that such an explanation wouldn't really matter in the grand scheme of things stops me. Zero was having fun. A chime chirps out across the arcade. They'll be closing soon. We should make the last game a good one. I see. How about that? Zero runs off towards another machine and stares at it in splendor. It has multiply your tickets and big flashy letters on the side. This one's a bit of a gamble. You put in quite a few tokens and it gives you the chance to drastically increase the number of tickets you can have. How does it do that? Magics? I chuckle and shake my head. Nothing so grand, I'm afraid. You win a bigger ticket with a special color, and that lets you multiply the tickets you bring to the man at the counter by the number on the one you win. Zero's eyes light up. Can we do this one? Well, again, it's a big risk. It's been known to just be a coin sink since there are like maybe a handful of people who get anything more than a X1 a day. This will be the rest of our coins. It takes 4, and that means we only have one side added. Zero seems to think it over. Alright then, how about this? If we win, I'll let you touch my tail. It's something of an honor to let someone do that where I'm from, and since you've been looking at it so much, I figured you'd like the chance. Zero smiles a coy smile. Just like devil, I smirk inside. Alright then, you're on. I put in a few coins and let Zero press the big button to start. After a moment, the roulette light wheel starts spinning the random placement around the center dial where various multipliers are written, most of which are x1, but the highest of which is times 1, but the highest of which is a times 100 space. I lean in to Gerald. You got this, Gerald. Just press a button when you think you'll stop the light at a good one. He doesn't seem to hear me. His eyes are darting around quicker than the lights can keep up. Finally, he presses the stop button, which stops the wheel. A fanfare of flashing brilliant lights and loud, cheerful trumpets congratulate Gerald as he lands a light of a X100 or times 100 multiplier. I cheer loudly for Gerald and pat him on the head. His tail is wagging so much that his excitement is overwhelmingly adorable. And get to pet that fluffy, well-kept and stylish tail. It's been taunting me this whole time. As Gerald retrieves a big ticket from the machine, I feel my phone buzz. Pulling it out, I look over to Gerald. You should take these tickets and that big one to the man at the counter. We'll see how many you end up with. We walk toward the counter as I check notification. My heart races. Gerald happily greets the man at the counter and begins handing the piles of tickets and the big one over. His tail swishes happily all the while. I read the message. The team is on the hunt for you. Watch your back, Finn. Gerald comes back up to me with a beaming smile, contrasting the look of worry I must be making. I shake it off. Finn, we got a total of 30,000 tickets. The man signed me up for a rewards card and said he keeps the tickets there and that I can spend them anytime I want. Noticing my demeanor, Gerald tilts his head. What is wrong? Tucker sent me his text. I show Gerald my phone and he squints for a second but appears to read the text fine. His retinue is on the prowl then. Perhaps they have already found you. Gerald's whole demeanor reverts to his noble, almost guardsman-esque facade. We should make haste towards your home. I can keep you safe therein. Gerald, you want to come over? Gerald seems stunned for a moment and then shakes it off. It is the most safe course of action. We begin to head out of the arcade. By the way, Gerald was looking at me, no doubt questioning what I'm about to say. I've been considering talking to Tucker tomorrow or the day after. You intend to parley with that barbaric asshole? Why? He seems to know something I'm not sure about. He reflects on this and leans in, locking eyes with me once more. Ben, I know you don't like him, and I get it. Bjorn told me what Tucker said yesterday. Tucker himself seemed odd when I mentioned it earlier. He said he wasn't talking about you, but I don't know what he could have been talking about otherwise. I look back to the text message. This text, is it a threat or a warning? Zero pulls away, brushing shoulders with me as he calls out to me in my mind. Finn, we need to get you home before the barbarian's friends are able to plot out an ambush. This doesn't seem like something to take lightly. It could already be too late. I wave to the employee, then follow after Wolf, desperately trying to keep up with his pace as he pushes the arcade doors open and walks through them. I look at the swish of Wolf's tail longingly and follow him outside into the nighttime autumn air. One day, my friend, Jill doesn't have the same rapport with Linus as I'd have hoped. The discord seems to be on his part, as Line is wanting to cuddle up against his leg and is curious. Jill, however, seems wary and steps over the little cat avoidingly. I try to convince him that Linus means him no harm, but Gerald won't be convinced. He'll wait till I let my guard down. That's when he'll strike. He's your protector, after all, is he not? But not really. I take care of him, not the other way around. Unless you count house centipedes, he protects me from those once in a while. There's also the time he got into a boxing match with that squirrel that got in through my bedroom window. He also went to town on Tucker's leg the night we fought. I looked down toward Liney Winey and reconsidered. Maybe you have a point. Still, he definitely likes you. This is an attack of affection. Right, well, I'll be the judge of that. Zero lowers his hand towards Linus and waits. Linus sniffs Zero's hand. Linus boops Zero's finger with his nose. Then Linus pounces and grabs at Zero's arm. The wolf giant's reflexes are just as swift as my kitty's, however, and he pulls his arm away in time. See, I told you, he's playing at some game to deceive me. I laugh and shrug. Zero, he's just playing with you. You have that wristband on, and he loves toying with those. I spent an hour trying to convince Zero to allow Linus near him, to little avail. After a while, I take Zero to the spare room, and this time I pull out the futon. Zero sniffs the air. Arkin was here. We slept over last night. There was that attacker on campus. He wanted to make sure I got home safely, but it was late, so he just stayed. I see. Well, at least it smells like he did yesterday when he bathed, and not like this morning. Did he smell unclean? I hadn't noticed. Arkin does have a natural musk, but he smells more like pine to me, and I like it a lot. Zero smells of the sea, salty and airy, without the briny bits. I wonder what Bjorn smells like. I remember this morning, and Arkin leaning over Zero. Zero, what were you and Arkin talking about this morning? I overheard a bit. Zero's eyes widen, he tenses up. It wasn't really that important. I was telling him to be wary. Zero's eyes move away, and his voice trails off. Of me? Zero shakes his head quickly and raises both arms in front of him. No, not you at all, Finn. You're great. It's Bjorn. His family of the former great wolf, Karhu. Bjorn is related to the last great chief. I see. I already have some thoughts about this Karhu, leaving villagers like Arkans to suffer. Why would Bjorn not tell me that? As I'm pondering this, Gerald removes his outer layer. Anyway, thank you for the hospitality, Finn. Hopefully one day I can sell you the same. I smile and bow a bit. Of course, thank you for hanging out with me today. It was fun. Thank you also for staying the night. Tucker is definitely gutsy enough to show up here if the note I found on my window frame earlier is any indication. Zero nods and stretches. Of course, Finn. Please let me know if you need me. I'll sleep light. Nod, returning to my room. I can't sleep, though. Lying there for an hour, I turn onto my back and look up at the ceiling. Thinking about it is all too much. More than that, Linus is nowhere to be seen. He usually cuddles up to me, and that helps when I can't sleep sometimes. I get out of bed and walk into the kitchen, grabbing a glass of water. Linus's food and water are gone, and I take a pack of treats out from the cabinet and put a few in his dish. He doesn't come running. Linus, where'd you go, stinker? I finish my water and notice the door to the spare room is open. I can see Gerald lying on the futon, covered lightly with a blanket and hear him gently snoring. It's cute. Moreover, from here, I can see that traitor Linus lying curled up next to Gerald's face on the pillow. I chuckle and shake my head. I guess he needs you more, huh? I drank another glass of water, use the restroom, and then go back to my room to try to sleep for the night again. Finally, I fall asleep. I know you want to know more about her, kid. That's what this whole trip is about. I'm taking you to meet someone special. The teenage boy soaked in the passenger seat of his father's car, arms crossed and pouting. He stared off to the side, counting the heaviest drops of rain, one by one as they speckled the window and street across the window pane. Right now he wished it weren't so rainy, so he could roll the window down and have the wind whip in his ears. Have the wind dull the sound of his father's voice. The boy sighed. The two were on their way back from a camping trip to the Poconos, which the boy's father had given practically no warning of. They had been traveling up the winding roads when the boy asked about his father's reason for going camping in the first place. He regretted asking, not that it would have changed much. Now here they were, on their way to meet one of his dad's old friends. The teenager's eyes now focused on the tree tops, which had begun to slowly lower the further the car drove. The trees guided his vision down more and more as they went until they finally coming to a small lake in a clearing. Forgetting about what he and his father had been discussing, the boy sat up in his seat smiling. He spotted a way out of talking with his father about his mother again for just a little bit. Hey, what about that? He pointed at the small pond and the deer stopping for a drink on the other side. An opportunity. That's perfect. Let me just pull over. The car was carefully parked in a small clearing just off the road. The boy put on his rain poncho, stepped out of the car, and started down the gentle slope past the edge of the trees and towards the water. He moved a hand over his forehead to push his medium-length blonde hair out of his pale green eyes and started to breathe slowly, whispering, "Dad, I'm going to take the shot." The boy's father smiled and nodded to his son, who slowly moved forward to the edge of the water, readying to take aim. As the teen raised the sight just under his eyes steadily, a bead of sweat trickled down his forearm. This could be his best one yet. This was as close as he was going to get, and he didn't want to make any sudden movements. He stared into the scope, positioned the crosshair to the neck of the deer, and took the shot. Nice, the boy shouted out in joy as the startled buck ran off. He scanned the picture on his digital camera again. You got the shot, I see. Ready to go now, Damien? I don't want to keep my friend waiting. It's getting late. Damien smiled at how easily this had been dragged out. Since his father wouldn't let him drive, he had instead begged his father to let him handle the camera and take photos on the trip, reasoning it would be practice for his dream job as a photojournalist. It was half true anyway. Mostly it was an excuse to get his dad Sam to stop the car whenever Damon got sick of dealing with him. It wasn't that he hated his dad, but having to deal with him at school as a teacher and at home as a parent got tiring after 3 years of high school. Still, Dame knew his dad was trying. Right, hey, well, that's sort of okay. Sam shook his head in protest, but all that followed was a whine and an attempt for the teen to get his way. Damien, please. Oh, all right, kid. but make it fast. I think my poncho has a hole in it. Dad, the rain stopped like 2 minutes ago. Sam looked up to the sky and Sock placed his hands on his hips. Well, what'd you look at that? Dame smiled, thinking about what photo he would take. He walked forward a few steps and felt a soft breeze touch his face, the night's cool, mountainous air settling in around him. The sky was beginning to darken. Were they spending the night at his dad's friend's house? The teen figured he might as well get a good photo of his father and most for him to come closer. Hey Dad, come stand by the pond, okay? Damon's father did as asked, allowing the boy to take in just how small of a frame his father had. Sam looked younger than most men his age, of which Dave was not actually sure, not even sporting the crow feet his colleagues all seemed to have. He had olive green eyes with bright blonde hair, cut short in a beard of stubble that had been just groomed in the car no more than 2 hours ago. Sam stood at an average height. Dave was just as tall. If they stood side by side, one would mistake them for brothers. Dave certainly wanted to be in the photo with his dad, realizing the two hadn't taken many together. He put a finger up to Sam. What? Where are you going? Just wait a sec. Setting the timer to 1 minute, the teen hurriedly moved back to the truck. Opening the truck and pulling out the tripod, Dame ran back, nearly slipping on the mud that had accumulated. Be careful. They shared a laugh. Dame placed the camera on the tripod and, after a brief struggle with settings, pointed it towards his father. He ran and stood next to his dad, trying not to look unnatural, though his nerves began to overwhelm him. 40 feet from the two, the car sat next to the road leading to the mountain. Dame's nerves settled when he felt his dad's arm hugging around his side, holding his shoulder. This trip meant a lot to me, kid. I love you. 30 feet away, the nearby animals began to scurry away from the riverbed. Dame froze, knowing the timer would go off, and he struggled to not get emotional. Damn it, why now? Dame swallowed his tears and put an arm around his dad's waist, looking to the camera. 20 feet away, something heavy rustled in the trees. The two stood there, surrounded by the swaying trees, the quiet sound of the river and the birds scattering above, taking Dame's mind back to that place. He smiled. He remembered, no matter what, that he always had that day. 10 feet away, the camera flashed, capturing the last photo Damien would ever have his father. Okay, so we'll start chapter 5 next time. So that was a nice flashback of Damien. Is that his real name, Damien? Or is Finn just a nickname he's using? I don't know. A lot of people change their names, so I'm assuming Damien is Finn from his teenage years, I guess. Anyway, his father, Sam, he's a school teacher and he's his father, so gotta deal with your dad both in school and at home. Kind of reminds me of one show, some anime show, like, I forgot what it's called. Anyway, this is kid whose parent is both a teacher and a their parents and teachers. They gotta deal with them in school and at home. So anyway, Finn is sending messages, and he's still going inside Finn's apartment. We need to go in his apartment. Anyway, basically sending Finn some warnings about, I guess some people are coming after him. I don't know if it was those football buddies of him or something else, or I don't know, but I guess something's coming after Finn. I guess what Tucker says is serious enough that even Tucker, well, Finn, I guess what Tucker is saying, all the messages are serious enough that even Finn is paying attention to it now. He's not really ignoring his message no more. He's giving it a lot of thought. And apparently, I think Finn still deep down cares about Tucker, even though he doesn't want anything to do with him anymore, because they were boyfriends and they just broke up recently. So I think a month ago, I guess, is when they broke up. So it's gonna take time to get over Tucker, but 1 month apart, in my opinion, it's not long enough for you to get over somebody. You still gotta have some feelings about that person, even though they did you wrong and you broke up with that person a month ago. So he doesn't like that he still has some feelings for Tucker, but he kind of admitted to himself he kind of still does. But Finn is still very hurt by Tucker, and he's been avoiding him, and he doesn't want anything to do with him because Tucker can't stand up to his father. He won't stand up to his father about his relationship with Finn and let him know, hey, this is who I am, and this is the person I want to be with. That he still wants his father's approval, and he still wants to be on the football team if it means having to damage his relationship with Finn. So, alright, so when Finn came in, I think came into the hallway and caught both Organ and Gerald having a conversation, and Gerald telling Organ that he's not one of us, and don't get too close to him or you will get burned. I was wondering if he was talking about Finn, or maybe he was talking about Bjorn, but I was thinking he might have been talking about Finn, because technically he's not one of them. He's a human from a different realm, and they are wolf giants from a different realm in Finn's realm. So, but again, I was thinking maybe he's talking about Bjorn also, because he's been kind of been cold towards Bjorn so far, and Finn in his apartment finally brought it up with Gerewolf about what was that about, and Gerewolf told Finn that it was about Bjorn, not him. And he doesn't like Bjorn because he's related to the former great chief, a great wolf chief, I think. He's related to him, and the great wolf chief did some very bad stuff, or maybe not just very bad, but he felt like doing some necessary evil was necessary for the long-term good. That's probably the mindset the Great Wolf Chief had. And it caused a lot of damage for Arkin, and based on how angry, how mad Jerwolf is of Bjorn, the Great Wolf Chief probably caused a lot of damage for Jerwolf and his people too. So it seemed like Arkin, despite the Great Wolf Chief's rule, because he was very critical of the Great Wolf Chief too. Like the Great Wolf Chief basically abandoned his people and left them to die basically when a plague happened. So because they didn't have any able-bodied wolves to provide for them. So it looks like despite Bjorn being related to the Great Wolf Chief, Arkin wants a Jerwolf to give Bjorn a chance. And he so far hasn't been cold towards Bjorn. It seems like his animosity towards the Great Wolf Chief and not Bjorn. While Jerwolf is he's very has a lot of animosity both towards the Great Wolf Chief and Bjorn. He's taking his animosity not just on the Great Wolf Chief, but on Bjorn too. So because he's related to the Great Wolf Chief. So I think I would have taken the road or the method that Arkin's taking. Yeah, I'm still mad at what the Great Wolf Chief, but I'm not gonna take out on Bjorn simply because he's related to the Great Wolf Chief. And Bjorn, his demeanor certainly doesn't fit what the Great Wolf Chief was. This cunning. I mean, to me, it's more like a cunning and practical person. Bjorn so far doesn't seem to be that way. Kind of shy and maybe a little timid. And I just don't see a Great Wolf Chief being like that. So I don't know, maybe he didn't like what his relative, the Great Wolf Chief, did, or we gotta hear from Bjorn first what he thinks about it. But I think he doesn't like it. He didn't like what I don't know what the Great Wolf Chief was to him exactly, or like a father or uncle or somebody, or maybe it was discussed earlier in the game, but I didn't pay it. But I didn't just forgot. But anyway, I don't know exactly who or how he's related to the Great Wolf Chief. Maybe he's an uncle or even a father. But anyway, we'll have to see. And the arcade scene with Jerwolf and Finn. Finn it was a big example of Finn having to teach Jerwolf about the modern world, because Jerwolf himself told Finn that his realm is equivalent of the 10th or 11th century on Earth. So that's basically what Jerwolf's realm is when it comes to technology and culture, I guess. So I guess like horses and buggies and practically no electricity. It's basically like what you could say is like a fantasy game, like a medieval fantasy setting, basically. Because Jerwolf has no idea about all this technology. So Alright, so that's all for now. We'll start chapter 5 in the next video. Thank all of everyone for watching. Bye.